Okay, and I'm live. Okay, so there's one person here. I am screen sharing. How do we do this? Sorry, I'm fiddling around with software a little bit. I'm screen sharing Process Slicer, what I've got to do this morning. Okay, nobody's here. Cool. So what I'm doing now is just creating a new slice of the mongoose body to get it to print a little bit more reliably. I've had to chuck a couple of the prints out, and given that I'm printing maybe a few hundred of these, I thought it was worth, making a slightly nicer slice to have less waste. I've got some stringy pet G, so I'm increasing the retracting speed between movements. So that's number 3 high retraction, say 6 millimeters at 50. Okay. Let's go back to the ladder. And then is that. Unfortunate. It's my generic FG. Well, that's annoying. Okay. Retraction. Let's go. And make a new profile for FG. So let's see. Extruder should be 255. All layers, and then bed 80. All layers. Let's see. Auto cooling is fine. And speed should never go up to 100. Keep the nozzle at that temperature. 90. save this. It's G Ender 3. Okay. 35% no support for shells is good for the mongoose. But I want to add a brim. Let's see. So skirt and brim. Brim width. Let's say. Let's add 3.5. Seems reasonable. Shells and brim. Okay. Platter. This should be pretty good. I'm going to slice this. Oh, there's some chats. Albert says hi. Oh, Joby's there. Hey, Joby. Welcome. This is the very unexciting Ethan running a print farm stream. But if you want to come hang out, you can click the link in at the bottom of the screen down there, or put it in the chat. You guys can come talk to me. Albert says, perhaps a Bronco pan too with laser cut parts someday. I don't think I'm going to make a Bronco pan out of laser cut parts, but I have 5 or 6 designs in my Dream Camera journal about laser cut other cameras that are similar and maybe interesting. The laser cutter is supposed to show up today. However, they are tearing up my street, so we will see. Okay, so I'm going to export this G code. Here, all this body slice 5. Retraction. Retraction and so I think this is the only print I want to tinker with just now. Close this window. Oh, Albert, you were here for a second. I almost let you in and then you disappeared. So you want to come back? we can chat. All right, so now find my CF card reader. Go boot a printer over here. Let's see. I'm working on a slightly nicer setup here. This print is a little bowed. It's a reject. That's part of why I put a brim on these guys, which will increase my trimming time, but also I think it'll make it a little nicer. So boot this guy up and preheat it, and then we'll put our new file on the printer. Prepare. Pull out my CF card. I used to print originally directly from my computer, and then I had 4 printers, and I started printing from. Oh, here's Albert walking around. All right, add to screen. Hey, Albert. Do you have audio?
Oh yeah, I do. It's great seeing you, man.
Hey, it's good to see you too. Welcome to the print stream.
Oh no, I'm just waiting for my photographic shop to open up so that way I can get my artwork photographed. Because I think I told you I won that grant, but I have to send them art. So I will document my art and then print the certificate of authenticity. You know, because if you're an artist, you know, your gallery usually does that for you, but I had to do it myself. So, basically, since I won the grant, they get 5 big tapestries that I crafted for them. So it's pretty heavy.
What are your tapestries?
Oh, they're tapestries. Yeah. Wait, when I photograph them, I'm gonna post a link on my website. It'll just be easier. But I usually have a company that does all my art documentation. So
I see.
But and then my school is thinking about doing another art show next spring for my landscape photographs. So I'm pretty excited.
Uh-huh.
But
That's great.
yeah, thanks. But yeah, and then next semester I can use the cameras you printed for my class because we're shooting medium format. So yeah, so they
Very
get actual
fancy.
utility.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad somebody's using them. All right, so
Oh.
I found an issue with this printer. The head is a little wobbly. I'll fix that. But we can start printing on this printer too. While we're chatting. What's the deal with school right now? So.
I'm just in final right now.
Do you go in Utah or you're?
Yeah, I'm at the University of Utah. So,
But for those of us, including me.
Yeah, I'm finishing my third semester in school. I got well, actually, if you don't count the summer courses that I take, but but then let's see, how much further do I have? I got 9 more semesters, 2.5 years left before I finish my undergrad and then off to grad school. So
that's a huge commitment.
Yeah, but school is important, I think,
Cool.
Especially for.
Do you know where you want to do grad school?
No idea. Nowadays, we don't even know if MFA programs are really open. I mean, this year, a lot of top programs allowed deferments for the first time. One of my people I know that graduated from my school, she deferred a whole year for the Yale sculpture program. So that, I mean, COVID's just changed everything, So.
Yeah, I feel really bad. I have a friend who has a son who is a freshman in college this year. He's a real smart, nice kid. He took my welding class at the Makerspace. And, what he needs to learn from school is not how to be smart. He's already smart. He just needed to learn to, get drunk, get arrested, chase girls, whatever he's up to,
Oh, yeah.
In trouble.
The usual vices.
But, instead, he's just been acing school from online classes in a bedroom in his mom's house. I feel bad for him. He should experience some failure. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, art school is generally not considered a necessity, but in order to really enter into the New York or LA contemporary art scene, you have to establish connections. And, art school, it's not only, obviously it's about increasing your critical thinking capabilities, but it's really about hustling, You got to meet people, gallerists, museum directors, curators, it's not easy, especially if you're not doing commercial photography, you're doing more of the artsy type stuff.
Yeah, I eventually got a degree in economics. My major regret from all of going to fancy school was that I didn't join a frat. Not that I think it would have been fun. In fact, I think it would have been miserable. But I think there's some rich people connections that would have benefited me greatly that I've watched some of my friends, use frat connections to get bank jobs. But okay, I wound up making cameras. It's not too bad.
Well, to be honest, maybe it was because you didn't get into the banking.
Real value in school networking.
Yeah, the mongoose wouldn't exist.
Yeah, probably.
I think tinkering around is true. I think tinkering around is a lot more fun than sitting your ass on a chair at a banking job. I have a lot of friends when I graduated from Yale that went to the banking in New York City, and most of them don't even work there anymore. Even if they got paid six figures, just because after 5 to 6 years, you just begin to hate it, and they really actually don't pay you that much when you have to work 100 hours just to earn $120,000.
Well, yeah, but it's getting a shot to it's about getting a shot to work at a much higher rate, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I think you only live life once, and you might as well do what you
Yeah,
enjoy. To be honest.
I
And
appreciate the vote of confidence.
well, the mongoose will be interesting. Building these new contraptions, they're highly innovative, and especially because they fulfill a need that the public wants, but because of scalability economically, big companies aren't willing to risk those type of ventures. I mean, maybe in Japan
Yeah,
they're
I mean
willing to do
it's
that.
like a slam dunk loss.
Pretty much. I mean, Japan, they will put money
Maybe
towards it,
I
towards
think. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, Japan, they have like a lot of very.
the market is so small.
Oh
It,
yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's hard because
I would like to go to Japan. I've been talking to a friend of mine about going
oh
to
yeah,
Japan next summer.
Bellamy Hunt. Be nice to pay him
I
a
think I
visit.
could. Yeah,
Visit.
it would. It would be nice to meet in person finally. I just met him on the internet pretty recently. He's been, I told him that I've been following Japan Camera Hunter since I had a CRT monitor. Like that's how long I've been a fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I could go camera shopping. I think I could spend a lot of time buying Japanese stationery.
Yes.
Yeah,
And eating sushi.
the best food. Yeah,
A
all
lot of
day.
sushi.
No good sushi in the desert. It's really killing me here.
But it's something I think is important. Is Japan? There is a market for obscure cameras. I mean, look at Cosina with the Voightliner
Sure,
thing.
sure.
The problem is,
Isn't Cosina in Taiwan?
oh yeah, but I mean,
I don't know.
but the thing is, the U.S. market. I mean, people are shooting film, but most of the people that I see that are shooting film are either buying old Nikon cameras or
Mm-hmm.
they're just using a Canon AE1. And those who have just a lot of money just dump it on Leica equipment. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to obscure experimental setups, not so common. And
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really excited because I mean, for the first time, both you and Dora Goodman are developing cameras that are very functional, but they're lighter weight. So they're more practical than dragging around, say, like a Mamiya RB67. Which I mean, it's a good camera, but hell, that thing's heavy. I mean, it's like you go to a restaurant, you put down that camera, and it like shakes the whole
Yeah,
restaurant.
yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
just like my friend Billy. Too.
But how's the laser cutter setup? Did you get
Yeah,
everything hooked up, or is
yeah.
it still?
That is true. Okay, hang on 1 second. I gotta grab some filaments.
Okay, go ahead.
No, for the last 2 days I've gotten delay notices from UPS, but the last 2 days I've gotten delay notices from UPS, but it should be here today, according to them yesterday. However, they're breaking up the street in front of my house, so I hope it can be delivered. I hope I will have to go abruptly because a giant truck will show up, but we'll see if that works or not,
Yeah, well, it is huge, so it's going to require a lot of finagling to get it to where you want to place it, So, but it'll be exciting because that will allow a lot of leverage in terms of achieving, well, designs that you
my
can't
first hope is that
extrude.
they will come.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, our school has a laser cutter, but it's very highly restricted.
I have a lot of designs right now that are supposed to be printable or cuttable, but yeah. Oh, Matthew Harville says he loves his OG. Thanks, Matthew. That is good to hear.
I'm getting one
I
soon.
have a few on my desk that need to go out, but I need the laser to come in actually to cut the focusing screens.
Yeah.
Unload filament. All right. Time to put some new filaments in this printer and start it. And then maybe we can solder heat bed. I had the connection smoking on my second Prusa, which is probably a bad sign. Probably should not smoke.
So, quick question: do you think that with the
One's
laser
going.
cutter you'll be able? Oh, with the laser cutter you should be able to make a good a better shutter mechanism than the one that exists currently in the Bronco pan. Do you think?
Well, so the
Or
Bronco pan doesn't have a shutter, right? It has
oh,
it
okay,
has the shutter of a Mamiya press lens. So
yeah,
that's going to be hard to replicate out of acrylic or wood or
Yeah.
whatever I wound up cutting. But I think there are some shutters that I have been thinking about
oh
and
yeah,
working on. They're far down my list.
oh yeah. It'd be nice.
They just take so much time to develop. And
Well, most people
the
don't
simpler
realize.
stuff usually is what winds up being more profitable.
Oh yeah. Well, the original Leicas were originally close to being very much hand-built cameras. I think the
Yes.
Leica looks like somebody just went in their garage and just slapped a bunch of sardine cans together. I hate to admit. I mean, it's expensive now because it's like there aren't that many of them, and it's obviously the prototype for just about every Leica M camera out there. So, but it's really cool. I mean, you never know. You might end up becoming a Leica-like facility, which will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever achieve that precision. However, I have some designs that are similar that I would really like to make. Let's see. I have a resin printer that's put away right now. It's very messy. But I plan to use that for making Leica style shutters.
Yeah.
Missing a wires. So yesterday, I don't know if you can see what I'm working on. This bed started to smoke, and this piece warped right here.
Oof. Not good.
So apart and see what's going on. My bet is that the solder joint has started to crack, and that is going to cause me some problems.
Yeah,
but instead of burning
fire.
my house down, I will take it apart, resolder it. I might need a new print or heat bed, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, is it just a sheet of steel or aluminum, or what is it made of?
So sometimes I think this is a metal board with kind of like toaster wire underneath it. And it gets hot, and then on top of that I put a magnetic heat bed. But this, I assembled this once, so I should know what is in here. But I think there's just some heavy gauge wire that is directly soldered to the bed. And this plastic piece I'm taking off now, its job is to keep that connection from flexing. However, if somehow it got warm, it's not soldered. However, I do see the problem.
What happened? Did it snap off, or it's loose?
Yeah, it is loose and burnt. Okay, let's see if I can show you.
Okay.
So after removing that part, let's see, trying to use my computer as a camera. I will have my normal camera hooked up, but this one is a good connection. This one is such a bad connection that it heated up and actually burned the copper pad off of here.
that's
So
bad. Yeah.
that is pretty bad. So I'm going
Mhm.
to take this apart actually and see if there's any copper pad left under the terminal.
Mhm.
Clean up the terminal, and maybe I will just hard solder them
Oh.
if there's any trace left. If there's not a trace, maybe I will need a new board, or I will take a look at
Yeah.
the underside and see if I can manually jumper to the nichrome wire or whatever is
Mhm.
causing the whatever the heating element is.
Well, it'll be really good. Actually, it's interesting.
But that's not good.
Oh yeah, speaking of like streaming cams, it's probably a good jumping point to look at the videos of Louis Rossmann, who live streams all his Apple
Oh yeah, I know
computers.
Louis Rossmann, of
Yeah,
course.
and his camera is pretty cool because when you're working with getting that quick magnification onto something technical, he has a really good setup for that. So
Yeah, so I have an HDMI capture card, and oh yeah, that is.
oh, is it really bad?
It's pretty bad. However, it looks like actually
Okay.
the copper is still there. It's just been
Mhm.
carbonized. So
Oh, that's
it's time
not
for me
good.
to find like a wire scruff.
Mhm. Can any of it be salvaged,
Technical tools.
or is it
Copper
kind
wool.
of
Oh, we've got. Yeah, I mean, I have I got a lifetime's worth of solder here. I will make it work.
Oh, good.
We've got Ben Reynolds. He says hi. Hey, Ben. Becky is here. Hey, Becky. And Nick Parao, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, nice headphones, Ethan. Yeah, I got these. They were the cheapest Bluetooth headphones on Amazon. I've been using these wired gamer headphones for a while, and I keep getting tangled in printers. So at least while I'm doing printer repair, I thought I would wear these professional Bluetooth headphones.
Hey, they do the job. That's all that matters.
Oh, man.
It's actually interesting because I'm wearing hot
Yeah.
pink, which I'm very proud. So I really.
Yeah, we're matching today. That's good. Okay. So I don't see where this trace goes. However, I think what I'm going to do is just put some solder on here for slightly better connection after I clean it. I'll show you this. This connection pad is very bad, very burnt up.
Can that be completely replaced, or?
Well, the entire board can be replaced, but I don't know that I can replace the pad. I can solder the pad a little bit, but the trace is inside of this guy. So it's a metal plate, and then they put like toaster wire back and forth to work as heating elements. And then over that, it seems like there's some sort of epoxy mask. And so at some level, I could potentially scrape the solder mask, the epoxy mask off. But that's a little bit, like by the time I do that, I might as well buy a new board. However, I think I can fix this.
That'd be really good because I don't think circuit boards are going to be cheap for that thing. I have a suspicion.
No, yeah, the heat bed's probably $50 on this thing.
Yeah,
but what I'm seeing is like the looks like a BGA solder connection. I'm not exactly sure where the connection's made. There's a lot of carbonization under this pad, and now I'm getting into fiberglass is coming up.
So does the carbonization like make it look like it's oxidized, or is it just simply like black metal,
like
that's
soot.
just been toasted out?
Yeah. So probably what's been toasted is not the metal, but the fiberglass board around the metal connectors. has burned up, and then
Okay.
sort of put charcoal on everything.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So once you resurrect that, I guess do you have to repair the fiberglass, or it just kind of is what it is?
No. Yeah, it should be okay. I think, I give it let's say 30% chance of this working, and if it doesn't, I will just order a new board. I've had one major printer error every day, and so there's always at least one of the 21 printers that are down. But I, have plenty of printers to swap in.
Yeah, it's funny because my university has I think 30 printers now. It's crazy.
So we can see it's this.
Oh wow!
This little guy right here is what's all burnt up. I cleaned it a little bit, but the copper foil has sort of come up because I think the the fiberglass melted underneath it. So
it looks like it got toasted pretty bad. But
yeah. Luckily, I was watching it while it burned up, so it didn't burn up my house. I'm sure it actually would have thrown a fault and shut itself off.
But you don't want either scenario. I can definitely say.
No.
Someone's as bad as me.
Not the best.
Long time ago, sticking a metal fork with ramen noodles in somebody's microwave in the dorm room, which was didn't go very well.
Why did you do that?
That was the first time I ever used a microwave, and this was really when I was a lot younger and I didn't care, and that was dumb. That's what I'm gonna say, but that's all right. I mean, he was the same roommate. He was the same roommate that was growing marijuana in the closet. So what can one say, right? So, I mean, it's
college.
Funny. Yes, it is definitely college. I mean, he was also, interesting enough, a Korean exchange student. So apparently, kimchi was not his specialty. So.
I've been known to make some kimchi, but it takes so long to make. We would just make it in huge quantities, and then I thought our house smelled like delicious garbage after that. But my girlfriend was not super into me having a 5-gallon bucket of kimchi in the fridge for months on end.
No, in fact, you have to get a second garage just for anything that cooking exotic food. Well, garage 1, cooking exotic cameras and film related equipment. Garage 2, cooking exotic cuisine. But that's why I suggested the Uncle Roger videos. They were just hilarious. Been watching them addictively and repeatedly too. So I just I have to admit, egg fried rice. Yes, egg fried rice. Just
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm gonna solder this whole damn terminal on and see if that works. If not, we'll just I don't know. Just replace the whole part. I probably would replace the whole part if I had a spare in stock for this heat bed. And I have different heat beds, which I guess would work, but I think most of them are 12 volts. This is a 24 volt. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the size of the bed? Those are 16 by 16 inch, or?
No. This is 9 by 9, something like that. Yeah, I might be able to get one from China if I am willing to wait.
Yeah, things take a long time.
If I'm in the middle of production, I'm not willing to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be $100 bed in America, but I think, I'm going to get this in a minute or two. Let's see. We'll turn it on without the cover and see if anything goes bang.
We don't want a flashbang. That would not be what we want. This isn't Call of Duty. Pokemon Snap, you know? That would be bad.
I'm live streaming. Let's see if anything blows up. No, I don't think it would blow up. It would probably just like maybe spark a little.
Yeah.
No.
But even if it sparks, that's not good either.
Okay. All right.
So
No.
does your girlfriend?
Yeah, I want a nice,
does your girlfriend
solid
actually?
on all
Does your
of my
does your
electronic connections for sure.
Oh, yeah. Does your girlfriend like photography too, or she doesn't really do much of the camera type thing?
Nope, 100% not into it.
Ah,
She's a lawyer. She's at work in the other room, indoors.
well,
She's
you
been
know,
happy since I've moved my shop out into the shop rather than
I see.
having it in the house.
Yeah, that probably helps. Is she? Does she do
Okay.
patent law, or not really?
We have other fun things we do together.
Oh yeah.
I gave her a Yashica TLR years ago.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry?
Does she do patent law,
You're breaking up,
or
Albert.
not that?
No. No, that's not her thing. More of a humanities lawyer.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
Okay.
Like to work for a
I've got this
nonprofit
thing pretty well screwed down.
organization.
Now let's add some solder. Like this. Well, Albert, you are a garbled magic eye right now.
Oh,
I don't know
interesting.
where you're standing, but
Oh yeah, I'm actually waiting for my camera or photo studio place to open up. They got 2 minutes, but they'll flip their sign and then I'll know they're open.
let's see.
Yeah, they do a really awesome job. They have a Hasselblad H1 digital back to do huge photos of paintings, sculpture. They'll do anything if you're an artist. But
Yeah, that seems like the right tool for that job.
yeah, so they're able to deliver me high megapixel files that are pretty much gallery or exhibition quality, which I need because obviously, you know, when you're putting, I mean, you have to obviously down-res the files for your website, or if you're submitting to, you know, apply for grants. But right now I don't want to overload myself. I have so many like things art-wise that I'm applying for that I also want to take a week break during winter break. So because you know I've been working nonstop and I don't want to get burned
You
out.
and me both.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
But you know, maybe you should come up here and do some hiking. We've got some really exquisite like views here,
Okay, I think
like a Bronco Pond shots for some of these lovely mountains here.
one of these days. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Wasatch and Moab, actually.
Oh yeah. In fact, recently I think there was a monolith that dropped down from
That seems
the
like
aliens.
a reasonable connection.
Yeah, I was like, why isn't the monolith in my
From
backyard?
space.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have that in my
Yeah.
backyard and then
Plug
freak
this
out my
in.
neighbors.
Let's see if it goes bang.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I'll turn this printer around so you can see what it's doing. Sorting files.
Ah, beautiful.
Knowing
Looks
me,
like it's
I
open.
probably just broke something else.
Okay. I am going into the photo studio, so I'm going to put my mic off while I talk to them. But you guys can see it on
Okay,
the cam.
Albert.
Yeah, I'll be just
I'm
leaving my cam on.
I'll let you do that, and I'm going to see who else comes up.
Okay.
All right, catch you later. All right, so Albert's gone. Anybody else want to come talk? I'll be here fixing this printer or breaking it further. All right, let's see if any smoke comes out of this joint over here that I just soldered. This should not be soldered. Looking good. Bed's getting warm. No smoke over here. It's a good sign. My new slices are going well. I don't want to start running all of the printers with the new slices until I have finished printing a few of them to see if it's any better. I've got 3 going. I guess I can print some other tests for new things or a couple of orders that I have back ordered. We'll do that later when I get this guy running a good print first. Be warm. The bed's not quite up to temperature. I want to get it up fully to temperature, and then I'll let it cool down, and then we'll put this guy back on the rack and fix some nozzles, I guess. Okay. Been printing a lot of things in PETG, which is a nice, strong material. It's a high temperature at which it starts to melt. Not that the mongoose ever should get very hot, but it is sticky and annoying to clean these beds. I think it's worth it. People will appreciate the extra little quality. Chat. Maybe. Sign. All right. There's no people here anyway. Get this to stand up. Yeah. Oh, hey, there's Nick Parao.
What's up?
Hey, Nick, how do you say your last name? Is it Parao?
Actually, no, it's Paro, but you can't load the correct letters for it. Can you hear me?
Parao. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, your connection is slow. Where are you calling from,
Yeah.
Nick?
From Cluj, Romania.
Oh, cool. that's pretty nutty. Okay. what's up with you? Do you make cameras? Are you a 3D printer?
Both. Actually, both. Just let's see if I can switch the camera. Nope, not that. Okay.
I'm gonna make you the
The other way
main
around.
presenter here. Hold on. No, I want to make you big and me small. Hold on. Other way. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Well, I can make us equal size. Hold on. Yeah. Okay.
It's
Go
okay
ahead.
like that.
Let's see.
Okay. Newly acquired CR6 SE
Cool.
to replace my old flea market find XYZ printing such a little printer
Mhm.
that I had, and camera wise, a small collection with a camera
Oh, cool.
that I showed on the Homemade Camera podcast.
Oh, I
Group.
recognize that. Yeah, that's great.
And for now, my other projects are this one. I don't know if yeah. A roll record that was buried in Germany, and I found it as someone that brought it
Ah.
from there. I don't know how much time it was buried in there, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it could
Let's
have
see.
been buried since World War II.
It's from the
That's pretty
camera.
cool.
It's from the 50s, so not quite that old, but who knows. And other projects are on Instax back for the Mamiya 6x7.
Huh.
A couple of printed parts, a couple
Almost
of
brand new.
yeah. It's still a work in progress to seal up our surround to make it
Cool.
so it won't like leak. Other things, I just waiting for the aluminum to come. Today, I got a package with
Just need more
tungsten
tape.
carbide. Yeah. Today I received the package with tungsten electrodes for the TIG welder, and see how well I can weld the aluminum. Steel is okay, it's easy, but aluminum is just, let's say, a bitch. Anybody else? Let's start up the printer and give it something to do. Meanwhile, how bad is the heat bed situation?
Well, so I got the heat bed working just fine. I soldered on the connections, but or one of the connections that used to be just a screw clamp connection,
Yeah.
but the copper pad had kind of vaporized partially, so I just dumped a whole lot of solder in there to make sure that the joint was good. The bed is working now, but what happened was there's this plastic clamp that keeps the wires from flexing, so that shit doesn't happen in the first place. But that clamp has melted a little bit, and I'm trying to get it back on so the wires don't wiggle and make the connection snap again. So
break.
It's a little difficult because nothing is quite straight. I might have to print a new clamp, but I think I got it. It's feeling pretty
which
solid
version?
Here. I can get 2 of the 3 screws in. I just won't leave any. This is a Prusa i3 Mark III. This is actually a Chinese clone, but
okay.
I think this is that's the original. I have an original and I have a clone. The clone is actually good. I would say it's pretty much identical in every aspect to the original. And I bought it as a test because I really like the original, but the farm is almost all Enders because while this is slightly higher print quality, it takes me longer to disassemble this head and reassemble it than like tearing a whole Ender down and building it again. And so, it's a very reliable, good printer, but like if they go down, it could take me 3 or 4 hours to fix one of these guys, and that's just not good for printer farming. So the Enders are a little bit, simpler, and I like them as my farm printers a lot more.
Yeah. By the way, you asked what
Nick, do you just have the one printer?
No, I have another one. The first one that I got was an XYZ printing, DaVinci Junior. And this one lives here in the main hallway. For the moment, it's out of order. I need to fix the Y movement because it's sloppy. And all of it is kind of sloppy because of old age and usage. But for, I don't know, $60 of what I've paid for it on the flea market, it's just okay.
You are cutting out pretty bad.
I don't know what is it, the latency or something like that. I'm pretty close to the Wi-Fi, but maybe the distance is
maybe
too far.
It's on my end. Hang on, let's. I have a 150-foot Cat 7 cable coming, or it's here. I have a computer that will take it coming. Let's. Right now I'm on Wi-Fi, unfortunately, because I don't want to run the cable before I bring the laser in, because the forklift will have to drive through where I'm going to run the cable. But I'll open this door. It works like a Faraday cage sometimes. Kills my reception.
By the way, you asked what we use in Europe for hairspray.
Oh, yeah. You watched that.
Intesa.
What do you use?
Yeah. Intesa.
Intesa. Got it. I have had a lot of friends tell me that they can't find Aquanet, and I don't know what the thing is. I refuse to print on tape or glue sticks anymore. It's so bad.
I either print or directly on glass or wait a bit.
In my life.
So as I. Oh, but
yeah,
this camera is.
Yeah. Hey Nick, are you working on designing any new cameras?
For now, no. Just accessory for cameras. Let me see here. I have, for now, designed and built a couple of these ones. Spooler for to roll 45mm film onto 120
Huh?
back,
Cool.
paperback. I've done a few test rolls. It was okay. It's better. It beats the chance of you to nail it in the dark room and set it and center it and make it sure it stays straight while you roll it.
Sure. Yeah.
And the plan is to, I know, make a full Mamiya RB67 back without buying an SQ6 Instax
Uh-huh.
and converting these guys, Kodaks, the Kodak Instax cameras,
I see. I see.
to use Instax. And for now, only the Instax Square would fit, but I might break out the angle grinder and the welder to make them a bit
That's great.
wider. It's
Yeah.
4 millimeters too narrow to fit the Instax wide cassette. It's such annoying because the film, it's almost there. And there is a model from Kodak, the EK8, which is a rangefinder and folds pretty compact. But
Was it a rangefinder Instax camera or a Polaroid
Instax.
instant camera?
Instax, instant, their proprietary film, which I
see.
think is the base that Fuji bought the rights to use to make their own Instax, because the claw, the mechanism, and the way it produces the image is just the same like Fuji's now film.
I see.
But the only difference is that the film is pretty much square, like the Polaroid one. Let me see if I can find the cassette. Yeah, I have here one. Just a second. Okay.
Yep.
This is the cassette.
Hey, I'm gonna try and figure out how to make you full screen.
Okay. This is the cassette, and let me see if I
Yeah, there
can
we
find. Okay, and the Instax wide. I only have a fresh one, unless I can find the one that I've cut up for measuring. Nope. Those are downstairs, lost somewhere in the other cameras and pieces of equipment. Okay. This is
So Nick,
kind
I
of the.
want to know this.
Yeah.
Are you a professional photographer or are you an engineer? Oh. Yeah.
I've aspired to be a civil engineer, but I've quit after a couple of years due to a bit of bureaucracy in the faculty. But I do work as on a CNC for let's say making house windows and the things that go on the outside to shield you from the sun.
Hey, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
So, do you ever think about using machines to make cameras?
The 3D printer for making cameras, the little lathe that I have for now 4 or 5 years now. Just some bench drills, some grinders, and the latest addition to the workshop, a TIG welder.
Oh, nice. My TIG welder is dead right now, and I have not had the time or energy to deal with it. But TIG welders are super useful.
Of course, and easy to weld steel, but when you go to aluminum, which I need to do to make a cage for the car to put the dog in
Uh-huh.
in the trunk. But I'm just
Why
today
would you make that out of aluminum?
make it lightweight, because if we need to pull it out, you would need it to be light, and it's
I
not
see.
always being that is going to pull it out, because my girlfriend she goes with the dog, and she's in a association of rescue dogs, so she needs it to be light and easy to take out. It's going to be made in two sections, because you have the portion that it goes down in the trunk, and to use the whole trunk we need to make it in two sections. The one in the bottom, and the top one will slide over and lock.
Cool.
But and for
And
now,
I've only TIG welded steel. I only have an AC welder.
it works even on aluminum if you can make it. Actually, no, because you need it to be AC.
Yeah,
No,
I think it's
remember.
gonna be DC.
For
But yeah,
for aluminum, you need it to be AC. Yeah.
in that
And
case, I
today-
only have a DC TIG.
Yeah, that works on steels, and yeah, that's pretty much. Just today I received a packet of tungsten electrodes for the machine, because the one that was supplied with the machine, well, being a novice in aluminum, will eat up the electrode pretty fast.
Yes. Yeah, I've gone through a lot of thorium electrodes trying to weld stainless steel pipes together.
Yeah. We'll see. That's a job for the weekend, if I'm going to be available for it, because I have a lot of projects in the garage. The kitchen
Yeah,
table,
you seem like a busy
not
guy.
done. Clean up the garage. Put out the wheels down in the I don't know, in the pit. It has been a very long month. Fixing the car, just the night before the inspection, for the car inspection, I've changed my steering rack here in the garage.
Ooh,
Yeah, a front wheel drive car
I've
with
done that on the Jeep.
yeah.
What type of car is it?
It's an Ford Focus, first generation. You have it as in the States as an SVT Focus.
Yeah, I had a I had a
And-
Ford Focus SE wagon. It's good.
Yeah. And in Europe it's called an ST170. It's the one that started the ST branch for Focus. For Ford, actually. Sorry.
Is it a manual?
Of course, 6-speed manual.
Is it a manual?
No.
Yeah. Awesome.
The only one with the 6-speed manual, but when I had to change the clutch and took it to the shop, it took almost a full day to take the gearbox out and change the clutch and put it back in, because it's a bit larger than the normal 5-speed, and he had to take a few extra parts off. Actually, pretty much have the nose of the car. Okay. And I have some trimmer line drying in the oven. just trying to experiment with the nylon before I commit. Drying trimmer line, weed whacker line, or in the oven set to minimum and on grill to ventilate.
Why?
Before I commit and buy nylon reels, I just wanted to have some fun with it before dumping, I don't know, $50 or $100 on nylon.
Yeah, I
Plus-
have not printed nylon, but I think it's pretty good material for things like small gears.
Exactly, and that's why I want to buy nylon just for some gears, because if I'm going to make the Instax bag for the Mamiya RB67, I need some pretty good gears to cope with the torque.
Yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of research into laser cutting gears, and I think I can cut Delrin. It's Delrin or
Yes.
yeah. So I don't know if I can get a clean cut on it, but that's a pretty good gear material. The other thing is the laser cutter that I have access to, I'm not allowed to use polycarbonate, because it'll make poison gas. But
Yes.
I have a friend in Brazil who cuts, or his friend cuts bulletproof glass out of polycarbonate, and he says he just runs nitrogen through the air assist, and that will shield and prevent the production of poison gas. So I'm kind of curious about making polycarbonate gears because it's very strong, but I don't know how small I can get them before they start
They're
cracking.
gonna be a bit brittle. Polycarbonate is, I don't know, from what I understand, it's a bit
It's a good
brittle.
question. Yeah, so it is a little bit brittle. Right now I cut a lot of acrylic, which is very brittle. I think Delrin is nice because it's self-lubricating and it's strong, but it's not hard. And what I found making gears with, resin prints is that there's some amount of hardness that actually reduces a lot of the strain on the gears, right? Because they don't flex. And when the gears start flexing, they start binding, and then you need more force to push them through. And so,
Exactly.
I don't know. I think, I'm likely to build like a big rig with a lot of different gears and just drive it with a drill and see what starts breaking and what works. I saw somebody do this from Form Labs. He built like, one motorized gear, and then it had trains of smaller and smaller and smaller gears out of different materials. And he would just run it and see, like first the tiniest gears would break, and then the ones in, and he would see like how small a gear he could make in each different resin that he was printing. That's probably a month's worth of damn work for me to figure out what is the smallest gear I can make. But I've been playing a lot recently with very small bearings, and I think that if I can figure out a good way to resin print around a bearing, I think I can make a lot of my designs smaller and smoother instead of like traditionally, like, I don't know if you've tried to print a Bronco pan, but like I relied on just, no bearings, just a shaft and hole and some grease, which works, but embedded bearings, if they're commonly available, I think would make things a lot nicer.
If you do the, let's say, almost all the gear, insert the bearing and just put some drops of resin around it, and then use an UV light to cure it. That should lock it in place, maybe, or make it.
I think that's probably a good idea. I have some designs where I press fit bearings into my next scanner, and that works all right. Or to just design it so that if it slips around the bearing, it doesn't matter so long as it can't, cock to an angle. But, so many of these things that I want to do will just take months of like testing out one one bearing and gear system before I can like put it into a camera. And I'm always hesitant to go, 6 months down the development cycle for
Yeah,
one thing, but somebody's gonna figure it out if I don't.
of course. Like many
Hey, Nick,
other
what
ideas.
else have you thought about making?
I do have a plan to make I don't know, based on Instax, for example, a rangefinder, just like maybe I don't know, maybe like the one that
Mhm.
Mint makes it, but let's say a lot more cheaper because 750 euros or how much is it now? It's a bit absurd for an Instax camera. And
It's very
experiment
expensive.
more with I know folder cameras like I don't know 9x12 or 6x12,
Uh-huh.
and another project that I have in mind. I'm going to meet with a friend that knows how to code the Arduino because I can work with my hands all day, but programming is not my forte. But and to make
Uh-huh.
electronic control for the Pentacon 6 instead of using
Oh,
the
cool.
old mechanical small gears that are very unreliable. Make it controlled electronically by a solenoid to release the second curtain. I've seen it on YouTube. There is somebody,
Smart.
I know, Pankal Art or something like that did it. But he has a very huge PCB with all the components that is underneath. I plan to use a little Arduino board called the Seeduino that will fit in the place where the mechanical gears were for the speed selector. And I know I will see if we can make it work.
Yeah, so I've thought about, I don't know, one of my very first YouTube videos, I made a manual shutter speed Yashica Electro, and I
Yeah.
just used basically their circuit and added a few resistors and a selector. But I always thought like putting an Arduino Nano in there and letting it control the solenoid would be fun, but also would take
Yeah.
forever, developing something that could not really be a product. Although there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
A bunch of people have done it the analog way, but adding like a little LCD screen and some button selectors for any shutter speed,
Yeah.
and like all the wires are there. It's just sort of a matter of figuring out how to fit the electronics in the case and remove the original circuit board. Maybe one day when I retire, I will do it. Probably
Yeah.
beat me to it. I'm a big fan of the Pentacon 6. I kind of like EF60s. Great.
Talking about small
Always have
LCD
film
screens.
overlapping problems.
Yeah. The film overlapping problem. That's just one small problem of it, but having no reliability on the shutter speed, that's one of the biggest problem of the Pentacon 6, especially the 125th speed that always hangs up
Yeah.
like on B. And speaking of LCD screens,
Have you? Well, so I have three. Yeah, that's a nice one. Little OLED. So I have three Kiev 60s, and all of them I've been able to calibrate the shutter speed pretty well with a little laser tester.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had three Kiev 60s, and between them they had 5 problems. There was none that were perfect.
Yeah.
The overlapping I was able to fix on 2 of them, and then one of them there must be a gear missing a tooth because there was no side of the eccentric that I could make work consistently.
Mhm.
The shutter speed issue was actually really easy to calibrate, but then again, if it's gummy, there's no amount of calibration that's going to work until you clean it. or fix it
The ones
here.
that I have here at home, I've tried cleaning them with brake cleaner just to remove all the gunk possible, even
Yeah.
running them in the brake cleaner. But no, it's something that I don't know, maybe a lot of use that made some play in the mechanism or something like that, because it either works good on the slow speeds or it's too fast or it just locks up on the faster speeds. I just gave up and talked to even a few friends that have Pentagon 6 and asked them, would you mind breaking the purity of the camera and have an electronically controlled Pentagon 6? And they were, by my surprise, they were just asking when he's going to be ready as a kit or something like that. We'll see. Because in the end, I want to use it as an exercise for making shutters from scratch.
Yeah. Have you taken the base plate off of the Pentacon and tried to adjust the speeds of the front and rear curtain?
Yes, on one of them I even had to simply dismantle it fully and replace or redo the curtains, because the first curtain was ripped. Somebody, I don't know, forced it and it was ripped. And when I saw how it was built, I just, because it was one continuous, no ribbon to give it strength from the narrow side. The material that I for the curtain, although it worked while it was dismantled, just chassis. When it was in camera, it was too tight. The material, even I don't know, it was even too thick, or it rubbed on the felt around the rear frame of the camera. So I need to redo that.
I think I've had a bunch of these sorts of problems with Zorkis and things like that. And sometimes the felt, like particularly if you get like some cleaning fluid on it, the felt starts to deteriorate, and then The other thing I've had is like the track, where so it's like a shutter curtain and then there's a batten or like a little stick that holds the shutter.
Yes.
It rides in a track, and that track can have like a little dent or something in it, and like just fucks everything up.
Of course, but at least for the Pentagon 6, it doesn't have the tracks. It just slides between the chassis and the main body of the camera. So just that square felt that it's on the back of the camera. I don't know, it binds or something like that if it's not the correct thickness or something like that. I don't know. I will keep experimenting, maybe even ordering some Aki Asahi shutter curtains to see if I can cut it, or maybe laser cut it at the Maker's Cafe in my city.
Yeah, I think laser cutting is probably a really good way to do shutter curtains. I have a friend who's buying a laser for that purpose. And then I have another friend here at the Makerspace who makes hats. Like, he has a fashion company, which, like, I don't care about fashion, but he and I talk about laser cutting things, and he cuts some really complicated patterns very, very cleanly out of thin fabric. So I think it's pretty possible. I've been cutting paper.
The only fear, paper, yes, but for the textile material, I need to perfectly level it to cut it alongside the strength part, the part that doesn't flex, that it holds its length, because
So when I
If
cut
it's
paper, I tape it down on all sides to a board, and I just use the scrap board to like cut, and then I
Yeah.
try and make sure that like I cut the inside cuts first instead of the outside, so nothing
Yeah.
can blow around, right?
exactly.
Something jammed over here. That ain't right. Okay. Pressa just jammed, lost some steps.
Is the tape too low or something?
See, I don't see anything jammed in the bed, but it's losing steps on the y-axis.
Ah, okay.
Seems to be moving just fine. Maybe the cable got caught, which is probably how this whole problem started in the first place. Gotta feel this. Hey, Nick, are you guys under lockdown right now?
We have restrictions, but and I know between 11. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm right here.
We have some restrictions, like not allowed to travel on the streets between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. without a paper that says I'm going to work or something urgent. But just do not leave the country. For now, I don't know. After I don't know, mid-December, we have to see if something changes because since summer we've plummeted with a lot of cases and it's not good. Until then, we had very few cases of COVID and even fewer cases of death, but we are a tough people to stop doing what we want, even if that means being unconscious and being reckless.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Got two printers giving me issues right now. This one over here, not sticking to the bed quite as nice as I wanted.
The offset
Print.
maybe too high.
Again. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So change the bed level a little bit over there. Let's
Oh.
see. Come back over here to the press up. see what he is doing.
Holy.
It's all right. Doesn't seem to be losing steps, but I don't know. I just heard something. I don't know what it's catching on.
Holy mother of God.
Okay, I see. The nozzle is a little close to the bed.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. There we go. Okay. Live Z adjusting to pull it up a little bit. Say 2.5 millimeters. I think every time I move this, I wind up moving the proximity sensor.
Yeah.
And then That's a pain. But the other thing is, like, if I don't clean the bed, what's happening is the print nozzle is like catching on some gunk left on the bed. So I don't know if you can
Okay.
see it, like
Yeah.
this little bump here is where the nozzle caught. So I got to do a better job of scraping this off. But it's hard because I have this textured bed and I have to scratch the PEI off sometimes to get the part off.
Yeah.
Very annoying. I need a kid to come do this for me.
Make one.
I cannot hire. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I need a 3D printer to scrape 3D printer beds. It's actually maybe not a bad idea, is like having some sort of oven with a scraper in it. It's CNC controlled, but okay. Some things I just have to power through by doing the dumb way.
Yeah. Well,
Just like,
this old Rolleicord is looking more disgusting by the minute.
because the dirt's coming out of it as it soaks.
Yeah, of course.
How long has it been soaking?
I don't know, an hour maybe. I should have put it on to soak like a month ago when I bought it, but after I took the top of it and saw this, I just almost barfed in my mouth and just said, oh, fuck this, I'm just gonna to put it away and soak it later. It was full of debris of, I don't know, dirt, mold, but at least
Was it- You said it was buried. Was it buried in the ground?
Yeah, in the ground. Like, I've heard stories about people burying things in the ground, but usually they put it in something like a box or wrap it in something. This was just basically dug a hole, buried, throw it in, cover it up, and stomping over it because even the camera is bent. The back is bent, and the top lens is misaligned. A lot buried in the camera than the taking lens. But for my surprise, the ground glass, it's still good.
Wild. You know, I used to buy and sell cameras. It's amazing that anything's still good.
Yeah.
I used to buy and sell cameras in, like, let's say 2014, 2015, when they had hit the minimum price. I remember talking to a woman in Michigan with a bunch of Hasselblads, and I made her an offer on them, and she said, like, look, for that price, I'm going to bury them with me. Bury them in my backyard. You know, back then, a Hasselblad was worth $500-600. She must have paid thousands for it. I said, okay, you know, no hard feelings. And I think maybe she did bury them. Although now they're probably worth a few $1,000s.
Exactly.
But we could not have seen that coming back then.
The rise of mirrorless and hipster community just skyrocketed the prices for cameras and lenses, especially.
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of amazing how cheap cameras were back then when I think back on it. But, you know, back then I thought, like, they would only get cheaper.
Yeah. Well, we were all wrong.
Yeah. Which is good. It's much more fun making cameras than buying and selling them, for sure.
Yeah. This is what was left of the mirror when I pulled it out.
Oh, that's actually surprisingly good.
Intact, because the white parts are just translucent.
Right, right.
But I did have some mirrors and some filters from old projector, and cut it to size, and I even pulled, I don't know, 2 pieces. Yeah, I don't know where is the other one, but at least I have one for it. It's going to be more of a rat camera than a mint one. I just want it to work, and that's it. I even going to let it this way, like corroded and no paint on it, but just to work. That's the important part, because it's not worth it to take it all into pieces and straighten everything, every bump, and make it shiny. And because let's face it, this shit is not going to look pretty in the end.
Yeah, so almost all of my cameras are really beat up. Oh, Nico Cazal says hello. Hey, Nico, if you're still there. Almost all of my cameras were like, when I was buying and selling cameras, if I found a working camera that was so beat up that I couldn't sell it for anything, then I would use it. Like, I have a Nikon F that I bought for $5 that had been like across the Sahara Desert. It had been to Afghanistan. Like, it was a working photographer who just beat the hell out of it. And it's like, I still have it. I think it's actually in my bedroom, but it worked. One of the shutter speeds was a little wonky, but
you still have a lot left.
Wore it everywhere. It's great. I think beat up cameras are the way to go. Yeah. Yeah,
of course.
Sure. I do not get to take very many pictures these days, unfortunately.
I feel you. Maybe making parts and fixing other people's cameras, but taking pictures, I have the Super Riconta and the Minolta 7S2 in my backpack for, 3 months. I've only picked up the Minolta and snapped one picture, and it's every day in my backpack, and so little time left, and not much to take pictures of. I did a bit of street photography, but after I moved at the edge of the city, I just lost interest.
Nick, are you in Bucharest? You told me this, I forgot.
No, I'm in Cluj-Napoca.
No idea where that is.
West from Bucharest. A lot of west and a bit of north. Sorry?
Nick, are you up in the mountains?
At the edge of the mountains, basically. From Cluj, it starts. Either way you go, you'll have mountains. As an altitude, we are pretty low, not that high.
I'm looking this up on Google Maps right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's cold there today.
Yep.
Huh.
For a few days.
Do you ever get to go to Slovakia, Hungary, Serbia, Moldova?
I've been to Greece, Germany, Austria, especially Austria. I really like it there. Hungary, Italy, Spain, and Macedonia, Bulgaria, because it's on our way to Greece. I've been mostly on the
crazy how
southern.
close you are to other countries.
Yeah, but so different between nations and language, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we have other states, right? But it's all pretty similar. Like, I mean, I'm 5 hours away from Mexico, but that's it. There's Texas, Colorado, Utah, Arizona. Pretty not that different.
How's
is
the
there a
weather?
big photo scene in Cluj?
We had weekly meetings actually, but
it's cold here today.
But they kind of died out from even before the COVID started. We did had annually photo festival, but not that many events in Cluj with cameras these days, especially vintage cameras. It's all about wedding photography and baptism photography and all sorts of other corporate events and that things. But film photography, there are a lot of people, but not meetings with them. I even proposed to with a local photography club to let's do an outing just with film cameras. I have enough cameras to give to all people that were coming in there, but it never took off the ground to make it. Okay.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a club here, but I think I'm the youngest there by 30 years. It's fun though. We've been meeting on Zoom once a month.
Yeah.
I never have any pictures to show, but it's nice to see what other people are doing.
Exactly. Okay, I finished up here.
Print is looking good. That print is looking good. And that print is looking good. I'm going to give those a day before I print everything else on all the other printers. This one is up and running, and then I need to change some nozzles on the top 4 printers. And then hopefully my damn laser will show up.
Oh, it was about to arrive today. Sorry for the dark.
Well, it was supposed to show up on Tuesday, and then it was supposed to show up on Wednesday, and now it's supposed to show up today. They're breaking up the street in front of my house with the construction crew. So, yeah, this could go on for months. I've just been sitting in my house waiting.
What you gonna do? And what is the surface of the cutting?
It's 3 by 4 feet, so something like
1,300
by 900 millimeters, I think.
Yeah, pretty large. And what are you going to make? I've seen yesterday that you were going to make some parts for the
My
Mongoose.
Pinda Center. Sorry, what? What did you see
what part?
yesterday, Nick?
What parts are you going to laser cut? Laser cut.
Hang on one second. I have the Mongoose uses a laser cut housing for the control box, and then also it uses laser cut ears. And then I've been selling these Polaroid scan tray adapters that are laser cut acrylic. And then I have a few designs for self-developing cameras, camera backs that are laser cut. And
like the one you did with the
working on
RA4?
the follow-up to the Mongoose already, which I really can't develop without a laser cutter here, but you're cutting out. Sorry, what'd you say, Nick?
Like the ones the self-development trays, like the one you did with Joe for the RA4. Yeah,
exactly. In fact, Joe came over to my house on Tuesday because he was going to help me unload the laser. He was very excited about it. And then we sat here all day and the laser didn't come. So,
Well, bummer.
yeah, so that'll be a product. Like, I could go use the laser cutter at the lab, and it would work, but like, it really would be way too expensive a product if like I had to spend half a day going down there to make every one of them. Right, it'd just be like hundreds of dollars, and I think I could make it much cheaper if I had my own. So, right now I'm just waiting for that to come in, and then I have a bunch of files. Like, I don't know if you saw the 8x10 camera that I built with Joe, but like that thing is ready to be a product already. It just, I can't produce them cheaply if I have to go rent a cutter.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it will be reasonable. Let's see. So what I found was the proximity sensor on this laser somehow got lower than the nozzle and was hanging up on things. The nozzle down on the bed.
The
And then
Pinda.
I found the proximity sensor should be like 1.5. Yeah, exactly. Do you have any Pinda sensors on yours?
No, the CR6 uses load
I have
gauge.
mixed feelings about them.
Well, for now it prints quite good. I can't
Oh, interesting.
be. Yeah. Only the Z offset. I just had to
Yeah,
make it.
so I have some Hinder 3s and CR10s, and like, I don't know, they work just as well with no Pinda sensor and no bullshit
Yeah.
about adjusting the Pinda sensor. And so I think this thing has caused me more problems than it's worth, maybe.
Yeah, but for
All
a
right,
beginner,
that's up. Let's try
it
for
should
the
be easier
100th
to
time.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. The thing about the Prusa is it has PETG bracket mounts for the Pinda. So if you ever overheat the thing somehow or jam it against something while it's warm, everything can kind of like bend and warp.
Warp.
And then the Pinda is out of position. And so I was like, they give you now in the software this thing called Live Z Adjust. So I can change the height of the nozzle based upon the Pinda reading. But if the Pinda ever comes too low, then I have this issue where, like, just now it was like the Pinda was crashing into the print, which was no good. I think I fixed it, but I'm gonna think I have fixed it about 10 more times today.
Can't you print it? I don't know, maybe source it out to print it in higher temp material like HIPS or carbon nylon or something like that?
I mean, PETG is pretty high temp material. I tend to print it around 250, 260. The thing is, I am printing PETG with these, right? So I really want something that is higher temp even than that. And so what I've thought about doing is just like maybe taking a few of these. I have a friend who does lost PLA casting and just printing them in PLA, and have a friend just cast some bracket mounts out of aluminum for me, or it's really just the fan shroud, and the fan shroud is pretty warped right now. The fan shroud and the Pinda mount could be metal, and that would be helpful. But the thing is, like, if I make those metal and then it overheats, they're going to start melting the rest of the extruder. So I don't love it. It prints well, though.
Well, it should for $1,000 or how much?
So this fan shroud is like
person?
almost lower. Yeah. So the Prusa was like $1,000. This one was $400. I had to
Yeah.
build it myself for like 8 hours. It makes really nice prints, but it's really annoying when it doesn't work. There's just a lot to fix.
Compared to, I don't know, Creality or I don't know, Tivo Tarantul or Sidewinder, which are a lot more less complex.
Yes. Yeah, I have like these older machines here that I built, and they're pretty nice in that like I never put any of the board covers on. Like everything is exposed. I can get to everything in a second. But they take hours and hours and hours to build. They're really annoying. So the Anders take me 35 to 40 minutes to get them working out of the box. So
Yeah.
it's been very good for production. They all seem to be printing okay. Let's see. What is Cluj-Napoca known for? What's the main industry?
Well, we kind of lost our whole industry because we had pharmaceuticals that are still living. We have beer, Ursus, but that was sold, and now it's one big shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And we had machining. We had Kug named Kug, which was for machining, making machines like mills and I don't know, machines for restoring engines, like for planing the I don't know heads for the engines and something like that. But most of them were sold and dismantled, and after the revolution in '89, we got rid of the communists, but we had then capitalists, which sold everything. Other than that, I don't know, we have probably the largest music festival in Romania, more of a cultural city now than industrial city, which it was 20, I don't know, 40 years ago.
Okay, we're getting close here. It seems to be leveling the bed, although yeah, live Z adjust. That's not a good sound.
Holy shit. Sounds like it's ripping itself apart.
Really bad sound. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, getting very close here. I may have to print a new fan shroud for this thing. But I have it working. Almost.
Yeah, for now.
I might run out of Z adjustments. Have to move the Pinda sensor again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. Okay. Oh, negative 0.35 millimeters below the INVIS sensor measurement. Seems to be maybe a little flat. Let's get rid of some of this. It's flat. 0.155. This is the most entertainment you've found all day on YouTube. Watching some dude fucking calibrate printers. One of these days, I think printers will really just, actually self-calibrate. I find that the self-calibrating printers take way longer to calibrate the self-calibrating aspect than it is to just calibrate an ender. It's bananas.
Yeah. Well, I had on the XYZ printing, the DaVinci Junior, it had, I don't know, self-leveling and everything else, but it took longer to print. And let's say the rest of the printer, even had all those automated functions, it was lacking in precision and quality in parts, especially the hot end, which
Yeah,
is
so what I found
actually,
is that the Prusa is a little bit more precise if you don't have anything dialed from the slicer. But like almost everything I print, right, I'm going to print 50 or 100 of. So if I take a couple of prints to get it perfect, I can print on the enders. That being said, a 9-hour print on the Prusa takes 15 hours on the ender. So
yeah,
whatever.
but same speed settings or different speed settings?
Different speed settings, right? Because the Prusa is capable of moving faster and still maintaining precision.
Yeah.
The enders are a little bit more lightweight frame, and I think the stepper motor drivers are not as nice.
Yeah. Doesn't Ender 3 Pro has the new stepper motors, the silent ones?
I think they do have TMC 2208s or 2209s in them, but actually I had a board out the other day. I think they were under heatsink, so I did not check. But I think it has a silent mode. I don't know. I don't bother using it in silent mode because I'm running, when you're running 20 printers, it's going to be loud enough that I put on noise canceling headphones as fan noise anyway. I'm less concerned with noise than just sort of like smooth finish. But I think the silent mode is actually pretty good for smooth finish. It slows the motors down just a little bit.
It's not that bad. So, where is an empty socket?
I had to buy 4 power strips this week because I ran out. No empty sockets. I think I'll have to buy another 2 more by the time I'm done.
Yeah, I know that feeling, especially in a workshop. There's never enough.
It got to the point where like I have a couple 100-foot extension cords, and using we ran out of power strips. I started running extension cords across the shop from plugs on the other side, and now it's like a real tripping hazard everywhere I go.
Let's see if you can. Okay. Park the phone here. Okay.
Some parcel tracking. What's in? computer shit is still in Colorado, even though it's supposed to be here today.
Mm.
The printers, they've delivered 4 of 6 of them, but it still says on the way. Oh, awesome. The computer stuff is out for delivery in Albuquerque.
Great.
And let's check on the filament. I haven't ordered Monday because I accidentally ordered the wrong filament. And so I try not to run out of any color, but inevitably during COVID, PLA has been really hard to get for months because
Yeah.
people have been printing masks and things out of it.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Nick, do you print anything in PETG?
PETG, no, just PLA and dabbing my fingers in nylon. But for now, the trimmer line for the weed whacker.
Yeah.
Because this is the first printer I have which can heat up. I have a heated bed and the nozzle can go up to 250 or 260, so
Yeah.
you can melt it.
Yeah, my original printers have heated beds and they can get hot enough, but they have a throat that I can't get in all steel.
Yeah.
It needs like this press fit. What is it? Teflon tube in it, HPDE,
Yeah.
and I can't change it for high temp HPDE, so I can't print PETG out of those printers. So they're
Yeah.
kind of stuck on PLA. I hate ABS.
Isn't the tube usually PTFE also in the hot end?
Yeah. Sorry, PTFE, not HDPE,
Okay.
but
I
plastics.
thought about switching the regular hot end with the one which is all metal, but for now, for the CR6, which has the bolts on the top, there's none for it. But we'll wait and see which company will make.
Yeah. The CR6 has the same exerter, like a E3D V6 from the press, or the same as the Enders and the CR10.
Almost, but this one having the load sensor, it has the bolts from the top, not from the front. So they're not compatible for now. I don't know. We'll see we'll see if someone will make. I don't know. Maybe I can buy the regular Ender 3 nozzle and hot end, and just make 2 holes on the top for it to slide in there.
All right, it is almost time for me to make lunch for my girlfriend.
We'll see. We'll see you.
Yeah, call me. Go. This has been fun. Pleasure to meet you. I hope to talk again.
As well. Well, we'll see tomorrow when you'll do it again, and maybe even on the Camera Podcast. Bye.
Good night.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye.